UCLA is a university with unlimited possibilities for students that desire world-class academics and research, unmatched diversity, incredible cultural and social opportunities, successful alumni and career networking, first-class campus facilities, plus America's top intercollegiate sports teams. Located in Westwood, just a few miles from the Pacific Ocean, UCLA's 1 square mile campus is surrounded by famous cities such as Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Brentwood, and Santa Monica.
Hi everybody, and welcome aboard for another edition of UCLA Bruin Talk. I'm Dave Marcus, joined by Courtney Casso. Great show for you today as men's sports takes center stage. We're going to talk to a couple of guys whose season is right in the middle right now, men's volleyball, right after this.
First, let's take a look at the upcoming events in Bruin athletics.
UCLA men's volleyball has had legendary success under the guidance of legendary coach Al Skates. Right now the team is hoping to make another run to the NCAA championships, and we're pleased to be joined by two members of the squad, Jeremy Casebeer and Tom Amberg. Thanks for joining us on Bruin Talk.
No problem.
Thanks for being here.
Jeremy, you're playing this year. You had to sit out last year redshirting. How frustrating was that to be on the sidelines?
Oh, that was very difficult. I actually tore my meniscus as a libero. Kind of a freak accident, was diving and my foot stuck to the ground while my knee kept rotating, and had the meniscus tear and had a 4-month recovery after surgery. So it was very difficult to watch, kind of struggling season from the sideline.
But you're back up and playing this year.
Yep, this year I've been getting some good playing time here and there. Me and Dylan Bowermaster have been switching off a good amount, but our team's doing pretty well so far.
Tom, you got a couple wins over the #1 team, Cal State Northridge, and then some matches where the Bruins didn't play so well.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting start to the season for you.
Yeah, I mean, we've really been inconsistent at this far, so it's just a matter of we've had a good game plan against Northridge, luckily from our assistant coach, Greg Harrison-Mavish. He's used to coach for that team, so he's got a lot of experience against them. And so just with the recent fall we've been having is just due to kind of a lack of chemistry between the teams. So I think this week we've been having good practices so far. We're looking to have 2 more wins against Lewis and against UC Irvine on Friday. So I think in that case, we'll make a turn for the better.
All right, so I want to talk to you guys about what it means to be a Bruin, and you're playing for a legend, a living legend, Coach Al Skates. So let's start with you, Jeremy. What does it mean to you to be a Bruin?
We're part of one of the best programs in the history of volleyball, really. Coach Al Skates has done what no other coach has really done ever. I mean, I remember when I was coming in, he had, 19 of 37 possible championships, so he had more than every other school combined. So that alone is quite an impressive feat.
And Tom, did that play a part in you choosing UCLA and coming to play for Coach Skates?
Absolutely. When you come to a program with such success, you expect to carry on that success, and with that, it just motivation within itself. And so, like just seeing him and what he's done, and he expects you to do the same. And so, with that motivation, it makes you a better player. It makes you compete with all the people around you in order to have those starting spot, and so you can compete and play and win that national championship, which is the ultimate goal in the college sport.
Well, playing at UCLA also makes you play with a big bullseye on your chest.
Oh, yeah.
Every team wants to knock off Al Skates and the Bruins. How do you rise to that kind of pressure?
Well, really, you just got to play. You got to think like we're UCLA. We kind of have that swagger and that and that tenacity to say we're that best team. Everyone's out to get us, and so we got to prove to them that we are that team, and that in that case, hopefully we can come out with a win.
You not only played for UCLA, you got to wear the colors of the USA in the junior tournament this summer. You were in India for the whole summer. That must have been an incredible experience.
Oh, it was a completely incredible experience. Just that international experience. You get to play against teams like Brazil and Cuba, teams you would never, ever think about playing about when you're growing up. And then also just the cultural differences in India, just an incredible place. Like, I had never really been outside of the country before, and my first trip being to India was a complete culture shock. So like, those few times we got to go out into the city and kind of walk around and kind of mingle with the natives, it was a really awesome experience, and I would never take it back.
You guys have a really good recruiting class for next year, so let's just jump ahead to next year. Coach Skates has said they're a very talented group and academically really strong. You guys are going to be the upperclassmen next year, and dare I say, the role models. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to approach that role, and what advice do you have to these new guys coming in?
Well, my best piece of advice is to work as hard as possible. Obviously, nothing's given to you in this program, and anyone can really rise up. Whether you're highly recruited or not so highly recruited, any position's up to whoever plays the best.
Talk about rise up. You're an outside hitter. You're not as tall as a lot of the blockers that you're going up against. What do you have to do to get the ball over the block?
Well, I try and jump obviously as high as possible and contact the ball as high as possible. Also see the block, see where the court's open or where the block is weak, and trying to attack that spot.
Tom, you've got a match coming up in April against USC. Mm-hmm. You play a lot of matches, a lot of big matches. You mentioned Irvine. John Spera's got a great program down there. But when you talk about playing USC, what does that do to your blood as you get set for the match?
When you just see that red and that goal across the net, you just want to do anything in your power to beat that team, because just seeing the USC just kind of makes you mad, makes your blood turn a little bit. And so, like in that case, you just really want to beat them, because I mean, you may have played with some of those guys in my example overseas with the USA team. So just having those little friendships and also those little enemies on the other team just makes you want to play harder and beat them even more.
We talked a moment ago about Coach Al Skates. I mean, he's a legend. Can you tell when he's being serious and when he's joking around? He's such a poker face.
Yeah, he likes to joke around in practice sometimes, but when he's serious, he lets you know, because he looks you right in the eye and he doesn't hold back any feelings of how he feels about you. So he won't censor his view at all.
You guys had a pretty dramatic game recently against Long Beach State. I know it resulted in a loss, but Thomas, you were the most efficient hitter in that game and just were strong the entire game. How do you keep that mental focus when you've got the crowd and it's such a chaotic situation?
Well, really, with the middle, as a middle blocker goes, I'm only in half the time, really, because of how the rotations work.
Right.
And so when I come in, I just like to play as hard as possible and do what I can to help the team, motivate the team, get my serves in, hopefully you can score a couple points. And just, it's difficult when, the team's struggling and then you can't really do that much to help, because as a middle, you can only set the middle in very, very specific situations.
Right.
And so, hopefully just when the ball comes to me, I just do whatever in my power to put that ball away and help the team.
Exactly.
Well, both of you guys have been here a couple of years. You've seen UCLA's been national champion. You go into the Pilot Pavilion, they don't have tournament appearance banners. They have national championship banners. Is that a thought that's in everyone's mind from the first day of practice?
Absolutely. There's only one goal while we're here, is to win the national championship. And we work every day and practice 5 days a week throughout the year to do that.
We talk about the time demands on student athletes, and in volleyball you play a fall schedule, then you come back, you play a spring schedule when you're regular season. How hard is it to juggle your coursework and your on-court work?
Oh, it's extremely hard. During the fall, it's a bit easier because there's not too much traveling, but still with practice every day, it just takes away 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 hours out of the day every single day. And not only does that take away actual time, but it also makes you tired as well. So, when you're studying, you kind of nod your head a little bit, but during the season, it's a little even harder because of the traveling, so that takes away even more time. So you're missing classes. Sometimes, in my case, I missed a midterm and had to take it on the road, and it's just it's hard to focus. But really, you have to just kind of hold true and make sure you bring your books with you everywhere you go, and every minute you have, you got to study.
And time management, though, as an athlete, it's incredibly difficult, and we all admire what you guys do with student athletes, but these are great lessons for later in life. You know how to balance a really tough, rigorous schedule. So do you think that's going to carry on after your college career and just how you approach life? And
yeah, it's taught me to take every minute of time and use that to its fullest. So I'm like, in the real world, when I'm using like in a job environment, I can just be more efficient with my work every day. And so I think in that case, it definitely helped me in the future.
Jeremy, talk a little bit about your support system. You've got academic advisors that assist you. What kind of services do they provide?
Oh, they help with everything from class planning to tutoring. Our specific counselor in the last year is at St. She's so helpful. She helps us get all our classes on time, get the perfect schedule around practice and what we're actually interested in. So it's extremely helpful.
Now, you had to work rehab into your plans. I'm sure that wasn't something that you were looking forward to. Is it difficult being on the sidelines and having to know you got to put in the work so you can get back out there?
It's extremely difficult and it's kind of rigorous every day, a few hours for months at a time, and you're not seeing much progress. You can still not really do anything at practice, limited at weights, but you still have that one goal of getting back and hopefully contributing to the team and working towards winning a national championship. So it's all the motivation you need.
Tom, what strides has the team made from the start of the season, and what's left to do? What are the things you guys are working on to get to the championship level?
Well, from the beginning, we were kind of a slower team, and now we've improved our offense. We're much quicker. We're incorporating more diverse plays. Like from the middle perspective, we're running a faster go, we're running a faster red, trying to speed up our offense to beat the other blockers. And really what we have left to do is just to improve our passing and just defense as a team, just to complete everything, and then also improve our blocking. Our blocking has been what's hurt us in the past against, like our most recently against Long Beach and UC San Diego. And so once we improve all these things, I don't see any reason why we can't make a run at this thing and try to take it all the way.
Jeremy, what's been your most interesting road trip this year?
I think I would definitely say our trip to Argentina this summer. We went there for a little over 2 weeks and played a lot of volleyball. I think we played 10 matches in like 13 days or something.
even for college athletes, that's a pretty rare experience to get to go to Argentina.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we'd never get that opportunity anywhere else. Got to see the people, exchange like different cultural values, got to see their beautiful, beautiful country, and amazing food.
The NCAA tournament is a rigorous test with travel and playing a lot of games in a short period of time. How does a trip like that prepare you for something that's coming down the road? Well,
we played obviously in Argentina. None of us had ever been there, and we played in hostile environments. I remember our one match against a club named UCLA had a huge, huge crowd, banging drums, people whistling horns, and obviously in college volleyball and NCAA sports, you're not allowed to have drums and stuff like that, noisemakers. Right. So that was one of the most hostile environments we'll face. So I think that experience definitely helped us for future road matches and being able to play well on the road.
Tom, you're nodding your head. Was it fun with all that noise?
Oh, it was an incredible experience. There's nothing else like it in the world. I wish they could bring noisemakers and drums and stuff to our games, because it just, even though like this is a small gym we played in, just there's so much noise and the energy and just everything, it just really helped you. It's just a great playing environment. I would like nothing more than to play in an environment like that every game.
Well, Bruin fans, you're not allowed to bring noisemakers, but you can make plenty of noise, and the volleyball team counts on you as they complete their home schedule in Pauley Pavilion. Guys, best of luck, and we wish you good luck going forward toward the NCAAs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today.
And we'll be right back with more UCLA Bruin talk after this brief public service announcement.
A trophy can be made just about anywhere. But there's one place where champions are made. UCLA, champions meet here.
Welcome back to Bruin Talk. I'm Courtney Costo along here with Dave Marcus. And before we get to our first guest from the men's football, or from the football team, Angus McClure, let's take a look at our Student Athlete of the Week, Steve Rodriguez. This week we honor catcher Steve Rodriguez of baseball as our Student Athlete of the Week. As the oldest player in his position, Steve has brought experience, leadership, and performance both behind and beside the plate, with strength both as a catcher and a hitter. In a game against stronghold Long Beach State, Steve slammed 3 home runs. At the recent Dodgertown Classic, in front of a record-sized crowd of nearly 15,000, Steve helped the Bruins defeat the Trojans at Dodger Stadium by playing for all 9 innings. Steve engaged in a dramatic block off the plate against Trojan Matt Hart to prevent a run from becoming a score. Hart had stolen his way to third in the 4th inning when a Trojan bat threatened to give USC the leading score, but Steve managed to cover the plate. Again, Steve brought more than defense for the Bruins, batting 2 for 4 with a triple to center and a double to right field. So congratulations, Steve, and good luck to the rest of the UCLA baseball team. If you'd like any additional information on our amazing sports program here at UCLA, check out our website at www.uclabruins.com.
The games are won on the field, but the roster's filled out in the signing period. It is the most critical part of building a college football team, and UCLA did a great job this year. 22 signees, a top 10 class, and a guy who's in large measure responsible, Angus McClure, the director of on-campus recruiting. Thanks for coming into UCLA Bruin Talk.
Thank you for having me.
You got to be thrilled over the class you signed.
We are elated. As a program, we had an outstanding day, and it's kind of the final day of 75 weeks of work, where we start recruiting these guys September 1 of their junior year and take them all the way through the first Wednesday in February.
The landscape has changed. UCLA and USC went toe-to-toe, and the Bruins more than held their own this year. You're fighting over kids in the local area. How tough is that when you're out competing with the crosstown rival?
Well, our philosophy is we're going to recruit all the way till the end, and that's what we've done the last 3 years. I think UCLA is an easy place to sell. It's got a lot to offer, not only academically but athletically. So I feel we can compete with anybody in the country.
Angus, you came to UCLA as a tight ends coach. What is the director of on-campus recruiting position? What are the duties that you have?
So I essentially coordinate the football staff with all type of recruiting information, prospects, coordinating of official visits, coordinating of junior days, coordination of spring ball schedule to bring in prospects. I help set up the academic appointments when recruits want to have that type of meeting. I schedule the coaches when they go on the road during contact period, evaluation period. I set up the coaches with what schools to go see, which prospects to see. I set up travel arrangements. Coach Neuheisel, as you guys may know, likes to travel by helicopter on Fridays, so he can see multiple schools, multiple prospects. So I set up arrangements for helipads through the Sheriff's Department, Fire Department. I stay pretty busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. My goodness. So with a recruiting class that's, Rivals.com, I think, said they were number 8 in the country. What are your expectations for these guys coming in next year? And when do you get to kind of exhale and say, all right, there's my class, or is it on to the next and you don't stop?
Getting back to rankings are nice on signing date to kind of see where other people see where you stand. But it really, I mean, is a projection. So you never quite know how guys are going to adapt to a BCS football level. But again, it's a nice relief on signing day when you have a top 10 class for a couple of years in a row now. My time to relax is the Friday after signing date. I get a small break where I took a family vacation and got out of town for a couple of days to recruit my family because they haven't seen me. They haven't seen me since last July.
So all those duties just shift to family.
Yeah, so I focus in on the family, and now we're getting into the off season. So we have off season conditioning. So we're bringing in juniors now, and you know, that takes up quite a bit of time also. But most of the recruiting events are held around events, you know, such as basketball games, baseball games, gymnastics, women's basketball. So we take recruits to all type of events. And since UCLA is such a family-oriented place, my children are always around campus. So
I have met your boys, and those boys have a lot of energy. Very good.
A lot
boys.
of energy, good motors. Good
I wonder where they get it from.
I know.
Angus, the on-campus visits, you know, you get a chance to see game tape of these guys. The game tape is everywhere these days. You can see them perform on the field, but it's a chance for you to see how they function with others and to function with the coaches. It's a really important part of the process, isn't it?
It's a big part, and that's why what we think that separates Bruins from other athletes at other schools is how well they adjust and how well they get along, how strong they are academically, will they be able to have success in the classroom as well as on the field, how they interact with coaches, assistant coaches, academic support staff. I mean, everyone from our doctors to our trainers, you name it. When they're on their official visit, they get to meet a lot of people. And we certainly look at all those conversations and all those activities when we're considering these guys.
In only his second year, Coach Neuheisel brings the Bruins to a bowl game this year. Not only that, but on the East Coast, where you get different visibility than playing out here in the Pac-10. You win the game on that ice rink at RFK Stadium. How important is that to your efforts in selling kids on UCLA?
Well, when you have extra practice time, to me, that's extra exposure. You're preparing for a game, so that's more media exposure. It also gives us an opportunity, because you're not quite into dead period yet, where you can invite young men on campus to observe practice, get around the coaches, and just another chance to get them around the Bruin family. And that's huge for us. I mean, you talk about that could be 8 to 12 more opportunities where you can bring recruits on campus.
And we're talking about the landscape has changed for locally USC, but it's also changed with recruiting in terms of how recruiting was in the last 30 years is very different to how you do it now. And with UCLA being such an academically strong school, what do you look for in a recruit? Because I know they've got to come in here and do well academically, even to just be eligible. So how do you recruit? What are you looking for in athletes?
Well, the first thing we look at is their transcript and how well they do academically. And then I pass it on to my friend Amy Schulich down in compliance, and she does an evaluation of the transcript. And then at that time, we're going to know whether or not they're a recruitable athlete for us. So, you know, percentage-wise, you're probably losing half of the recruits because of academics. And then we go on and look at their athletic ability. We look at their character. We look at extracurricular activities. We look at additional sports they play, recreation, or varsity sports in high school. So we kind of take a look at the whole picture, because you need to be a well-balanced person to be a Bruin.
And I think that's a really great message to those kids out there that want to come play for UCLA. Don't just focus on football. You've got to be a very well-rounded person in order to be successful here. Would you agree?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And to our advantage, you know, we have plenty of support, not only athletically, but academically. Yeah. You know, I still believe UCLA is the only campus I've seen where athletics is in the center of the campus. So for an athlete, everything is very convenient. Whether you need to see a coach, you need to see a tutor, you need to see your counselor, you need to see a trainer, everything's in the middle of campus, so everything is 5 minutes away, a 5-minute walk. So it's an ideal setup for athletes.
You grew up playing and coaching football. Now you're arranging helipads. Where do you get the kind of training to do all these different things you have to do?
Well, I started as a high school coach at an inner city high school in Sacramento, McClatchy High School, and I wore quite a few hats there as a young coach. I learned how to do everything I could. Moved up to the junior college level, which actually increased the hats I was wearing when it comes to now you're recruiting at a college level, a junior college. Then you're dealing with financial aid, which I deal with also, and then I kind of moved up the ranks. And my high school coach told me a long time ago when I got into coaching, he said, you want to do as many things as you can because it's hard for them to get rid of you. So I've learned everything I could at every school. I've coached at small college, like I said, to 1AA football, to 1AA scholarship level. I coached, you know, in the MAC conference, the Big West conference, so mid-major schools, and then BCS schools like Nebraska and here.
Your demeanor, your outgoing personality, very compatible with Coach Neuheisel. How does that translate into sales to athletes who want to come to UCLA?
Well, Rick's the best. I mean, he is a Bruin, and he had the experience being a student athlete here, and I mean, he's selling his school. And so when it comes to campus tours and that type of stuff, a lot of times I take the back seat because Rick wants to show off his campus. And I mean, he does an outstanding job. He's a great leader. He's excellent at building relationships with recruits, parents, high school coaches in the area. He's very warm, and he's very inviting. So that, in a sense, will bring students back here to consider us.
I want to know, who are some of your coaching idols, in whether it be football or another sport, John Wooden, but who do you look up to?
You know, I really looked up to originally my high school coaches. They're the ones that kind of inspired me to get into coaching. As I moved along in my athletic career, getting into college, I had some outstanding coaches. Some of the guys that they moved up, they're coaching the NFL right now. Guys like Greg Knapp, who's an offensive coordinator, and Clancy Bruin, who's an offensive line coach. So looking at them progress in the profession that we're in has kind of inspired me to move up the ranks. But like I told you, I started as a high school coach, and when you're not an All-American and you're not a quarterback, at times to get in the coaching profession, it's tough. And so I just kind of worked my way up.
You look at the signing class. Is it too early to try to project the spots those guys are going to fill, to try to look at it too deep for a year or two down the road? How much of this process works its way out once you actually get them on campus and get them into practices?
Well, I believe each individual, when they come in, is going to handle it differently. And it all depends on their attitude, because they've gone from being the big fish in the high school world to being the small fish in our locker room. And so depending on their attitude, they're learning, first of all, you change their environment, so they have to adjust to that. Their workload is going to go up tremendously, whether it's studying playbooks or with Mike Lynn in the weight room or any type of conditioning, that type of stuff. And then kind of getting a sense of where they're going to fit on the field. I think bringing them in the summer is a great tool for doing that, and we bring all our signees in the summer and get them acclimated to UCLA, get them acclimated to academics, and then as soon as they hit that field the first day, that's kind of where things start happening, and that's where your attitude's you really have to have a good attitude if you're going to play early.
How do you project a guy who's going to be a good special teams player? Somebody who, like a Terrence Austin, who suddenly breaks out and he's so valuable returning punts.
You know, someone like Terrence, you can see even at the high school level that he was a multi-sport athlete, superior track athlete in high school, and had the ability to be a running back and a wide receiver. So kind of those athletic traits and those abilities really helped him when he came up to the college level. And when you're a young guy, you're trying to get a spot on the field. So if you're out there early, catching punts or kickoffs, or if you're a young offensive lineman, you may be snapping the ball, working on long snaps, short snaps, that type of thing. To get you on the field, you're trying to find a way.
Angus McClure, great job. Enjoy your 5 minutes off.
Thank
Practice
you.
starts pretty soon, and the Bruins back on the field again in the fall. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of UCLA Bruin Talk. We're glad you joined us. For Courtney Casso, I am Dave Marcus. We will see you next time. So long for now.